opinions.
Would you love to deepen your spiritual connection and create a conscious shift in your life? Do you seek answer to human experience? Well, welcome to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. It's a 2.5-hour safe haven for your questions and Spirit's answers. And you can transform your life right now on VCMG in South Florida. Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor, coach, and medium who can assist you to connect the light within and transcend beyond the limits of all possible experience and knowledge. For the next 2.5 hours, listen and call in toll-free 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247. And watch Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube and share love and light.
Indeed,
There's a light right here on VCMG on the oldie station, and we're answering your questions at 866-972-7247. It is a journey for all of us. And as we journey, we need to trust that the universe is going to support us. And as the universe supports us, we want to look at what we're contributing to the journey itself. What are you sending out to the universe? What are you striving for? What thoughts are permeating the atmosphere around you? And how is it that you are navigating the energy? How is it that you're controlling it? It is so important for each one of you to tune into your feelings and trust that the universe is listening. They're always nudging us. They're always joining us on the journey. Guides, angels, fairies, they're all around. And you're not alone. You're not alone every step of the way. But as you tune in and tap in, as you align yourself with the frequency, the presence of the divine, you begin to open up new opportunities to create new fresh experiences, new streams of energy, and then the world becomes your oyster. You see, we've been trained to, I used this phrase a little while ago today, to be on the gerbil wheel and to do what's in front of us and do what we know is necessary and not always sit in the stillness and follow the prompting. Sit in the stillness and notice the clues that the universe is sending you. The other day I was driving down the road and I saw a number and it said 720, and that's my father's birthday. He has since passed. And I was like, oh, how great. That's my dad's birthday. And I was thinking about my father, and it got me reflecting. And, we kind of get in that moment of that presence of missing someone who's not here in the physical. But also I have the full awareness that I'm connected. Later on, for those of you who know I love to follow the frequency of numbers, later on in the pick 3, the cash 3, number came up that represents his name. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting. I was just thinking of him, and look, there was a frequency that still was in alignment. It wasn't that number said, go play the birthday. It was really like, he's with you. And it was for me to open up to the different ways that he could be with me and the different numbers associated with my father. And you may say, well, what does a lottery number have to do with being in alignment with the universe? Everything. It has to do with everything, because the universe is a frequency, and these frequencies are all governed by numbers. And these numbers have their own vibration. And the vibration of the numbers that line up with you, your frequency, my frequency, the universal frequency, we are all connected. That's why many of you will see numbers like 1111, 123, 1010, 1021. You'll see 333, 444. These are numbers that are lining up with us. You see, the universe has to catch our attention. And again, because we're in the gerbil wheel, we don't have the stillness, the time that we're quiet in nature, because we work hard for the money. We work hard for the money. And sometimes we're not in the flow. So I'm going to take my story a little further. And today's aha moment of the universe being with me most certainly made me feel like, wow, I had to still my own mind a little bit more. I was in alignment, but not in the right frequency to get the whole message. So they're always talking. And since they talk to me in numbers, let's continue with the story. So this morning, I was feeling strongly I wanted to go to the local gas station, do what I had to do. And on the way in, I see this number of 720 again. And I was like, wow, that's a great number. And I was thinking, well, there's a number that I really think I'd like to see come out. It hasn't come out in a while. that I'm familiar with, and I was kind of thinking of some numbers. The 720 prompted me. Now, mind you, that 720 had already delivered a number aligned with my father's birthday, but I didn't sit with it enough because, like you, like myself in life, I was busy accomplishing what I needed to accomplish so I could then get back. I had a phone session that I was going to do at 11:30, and I just had things to do. And so as I'm in the gas station, I go in and I do what I have to do, get the gas, do everything, and I leave. But as I'm thinking what number makes me think of my father? Like, it was a thought. Like, what number do I think of when I think of my father? Besides that 856, that means his name, and besides that 720, it prompted me to think of other numbers that I thought of my father. And so I had a thought, just a thought. You see, the universe just gives us a thought. That's it. I had a thought. 721. That was the only thought. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I could, think of that, like lucky 721, just thinking of that number, thinking that's a lucky number. But I didn't do anything with it. I went home and did my phone readings. Well, when I looked at the Cash 3 today, what do you think the number was? 721. And I was like, oh, there it is, right? It was right there. It was the universe saying, hey, you've got this feeling and this frequency, and there is a number we can associate with your father who's on the other side. Maybe it was my father sending me the transmission. I don't know, but it was a universal connection. And I was like, wow. So just like that. Now think of how many moments in your life, just like that. Your guides, your angels, your fairies, they're trying to send us a message, and we're like, la, 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 gotta get this done. La, 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 gotta go over here. Oh my God, gotta pick up the kids, gotta go home, cook dinner, gotta get this. And we've got this whole schedule. I live by a schedule. I don't know about you, but I got a lot of things to do on my schedule. But I'm usually very good at picking up on the nuances and listening. This time, today, I missed that one. But it doesn't matter. When I looked at that connection and that conversation in my head that was split second, I went home, and when I saw that, I said, thank you, universe. Thank you for communicating with me. And thank you, Dad. Thank you, everyone who's listening to me. Thank you for giving me a clue that you're with me in my thoughts, and that my thoughts are being heard, and that you give me answers in my thoughts. And okay, shame on me. I didn't quite catch that to capitalize on it in the way of a random act of lottery win, but it was important to me because I knew I wasn't alone. It was important to me because it gave me a sense of they're in my day-to-day, that they're right here. They're not far away from us. They're right in the energy. Like, imagine little faces blueprinted in your energy, your guides, your angels, your fairies. Throw in some mermaids and some animal totems and your loved ones. And they're all there, just impressing into your energy and transmitting a frequency that is aligned with the universe. So what is the universe? What is the meaning of the universe? What's the universal purpose? The universal purpose is to create a stream of consciousness that governs an entire universal platform that is created by the divine. And that stream of consciousness is fueled by love. That is the single most important energetic force that governs a universe. And every aspect of the universe, every planet, every star, everything is created in the energy of love. And in that energy of love, each planet has their own unique qualities. They're not the same. We reside on planet Earth. Planet Earth offers us grounding and beauty and things that are tactile and experiential. We get to experience life here. And yes, there are some days that the earthly experience are less than desirable because we are making it that way. We are programming our negative thoughts and putting it out instead of pausing and looking at the beauty and seeing what's really there. The beauty of the universe and the planet and the green and the blue skies and the ocean, the strength of a tree, the beauty in each other. And so this universal frequency is always there providing the heartbeat of life. Your heartbeat, my heartbeat. The pulse of life in a blade of grass. The bird that flies in the sky. The pulse of life that's in a dog or a cat. Or the worm that's skittling across the ground slowly. It's all connected. And the universe is giving us big messages. When the planet erupts in something in nature, it's pay attention, notice what's going on your planet. Be more mindful. It's also nature's way of clearing and purging. And we have to acknowledge that there are powers greater than us that are acting around us. But the same powers that govern the ocean, the winds, the moon, the sun, those same powers, they reside within you. They reside within me. And as they reside within us, they are easily accessible for us to hook into, align our human energy and our experiences, our knowledge, our wisdom, our journey of this physical experience, align it to the frequency so that we can be a manifesting generator. We can create. We can create from a higher consciousness as opposed to haphazardly in a reactive manner that is really more conditioned. I'm going to go to school and then I maybe go to college or study a trade and then I'm going to get a job. We're creating in a habitual, ritualistic way of conditioning. We are not always sitting and being still and saying what we're called to do, right? We're kind of pushed out of the nest and said, okay, go earn a living, go make money. And of course, that's a beautiful thing to be able to do. And money has a value here on earth and it has a frequency to it and it is a divine currency. So by no means is money the root of all evil as maybe we've been taught. There's a flow. There's an understanding that money gives us the tool to access things in the physical. But what if you could create things because things show up for you in a way that is almost magical? You want to be able to tune into that magic. It's not woo-woo. It's rather scientific. As you think, as you speak, as you act in the world, your energy creates a frequency. And that is what's going out all around your auric atmosphere. And so I want you to imagine it almost like some sticky tape. You put out your little thoughts that are sticky tape, and then things stick to it. And it's there for you to see. Eventually they pop off if you don't act on them. But then you send out other thoughts. Now, if you're one whose thoughts are along the negative side, well, what do you think you're getting? Some negative experiences. Why did this happen to me? I don't understand what that person was doing. And it's just like we go on and we complain instead of realizing that that person was behaving perhaps in a way that was not comfortable for you. But we don't have to continue past the experience of what we've just recognized as something that didn't feel good and talk about it and continue to put more stickies out of that, because what are you going to attract? Stickies of bad experiences, and they're going to stick right to your atmospheric pressure. And that pressure begins to build up, and after a while, it's an explosion of something big, something uncomfortable, something that really shouldn't have happened in your life experience. But because you're not consciously connecting to the universe, connecting to your guides, connecting to your angels, connecting to your fairies, connecting to the higher beings, and not stilling yourself and hearing that thought and just saying, what's this message mean? Oh, it could be this. And then if you're unsure what it means, it just pops in your head. Then you say, universe, show me. Universe, let me see and feel what you're bringing to me. Bring me more. And the universe will give you something else evidential, and you almost become a detective in your human experience, which is fascinating. Imagine being a little spiritual detective, gathering the clues of the universe and seeing what beautiful life experiences they're creating for you. Oh, the joy, the excitement, the enthusiasm that you can have by just settling into the universal messages. There's a conscious thought pattern that you can attune yourself to that will help you break your repetitive thought patterns, your human thought patterns, so that you don't keep thinking yourself in a hole. You dig yourself further and further and deeper in thoughts that are not rewarding, not bringing you the joy that you want. And the more that you notice what you notice that is not right, that is not comfortable, the more you put your attention on it, then the more we create more sticky experiences to adhere to your atmosphere and thus begin to permeate into your human experience, the physical experience, and we find ourselves stuck. And we don't know what we're going to do. And then we attract people who are similar to experiences that we didn't like. And yet we say we want a new experience, but all we do is carry that bag of experiences and throw them in front and say, well, I know what I don't want. I know how to create this, but this is all I seem to get. So maybe I'm not destined to have love, or not destined to have a better work environment or better role in career. You're destined to do whatever you focus your intention and attention to. Literally, the sky isn't even the limit. You have an entire universe to draw from with which to create. And the way you create is in love. Loving every moment of every experience and seeing the beauty in everything that surrounds you and adapting this playful energy. So getting back to my journey into the local gas station, right? I was playing with the energy. I was thinking of my father. I was thinking of numbers that I associate with my father for whatever reasons. But I had two numbers and they had already come to pass. And so I was like, well, what other number would come to pass? And it's 721. Now, I played it, but I played it in my mind. I didn't play it in the physical. But there was a playfulness about the thought. I was allowing my mind to wander. Right? It's like when I allow my mind to wander and I say, what would I like my angels to help me with today? What can we play with? What do I need to manifest, right? I have a little boy who comes to my center when he was really little. He asked me about angels, and we sat and we talked about angels, and we talked about his spirit guides and animal totems, and we talked about fairies because I have statues of fairies at the center. And we were talking about it, and little Joshua says to me, he's like, well, so if I call the angels, will the angels come? And I said, absolutely. Of course the angels are going to come. And so he looked at me. He's like, okay. So he went to the door of the center and he opened the door and he clapped his hands and he said, angels come. And ever since that day, according to his parents, he would walk into a room, he would walk into a house, he'd open his front door and he'd say, angels come. And the interesting thing is, because his parents are spiritual, they could feel the energy change in the house. It was almost the frequency lifted. And they're like, my goodness, the angels came. And he came back, little Joshua, and he told me that when he calls the angels come and he feels the angels. And then he said, I use some of your sprays, Sarah, and I do 2 sprays and I say, angels come, and they come and everything changes. We weren't taught that way, but imagine if you pretend you're Joshua and you ask the angels and the fairies and your guides to come. And you say, angels come, fairies come. Assist me, guide me. Allow me to enjoy the playfulness that is an entire universe of power and love and joy. Allow me to sit in this playful energy and create the life that I want and no longer be a slave to experiences that are tying me and not allowing me to feel the joy and the freedom of the divine being that I am. Well, we're going to continue with this conversation here on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah on the Oldie Station. We welcome you. We're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors, and then when we come back, we will answer your questions at 866-972-7247. If you're listening in the car, please join us and give us a call, and let's have a conversation about what you want to manifest and playfully see what we can create. Stay with us, everyone. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. I'm Sarah Spiritual, and we'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robes Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. We are South Florida's home for the True Oldies Channel.
Love the outdoors and the open road? Don't miss RV Hour, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hosted by Giant Recreation World second generation owner and CEO Larry McNamara and his co-host Dwayne Adams. RV Hour, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies Channel.
And now another community first message from Robes.
When an auto accident occurs, stop immediately. Do not obstruct traffic and secure your valuables. Obtain the names, phone numbers, and addresses of the other driver and any witnesses. Call 911 and report the accident. Injured recently? Contact Robes Injury Law at 561-570-5700 or robeslawgroup.com. Offices throughout Palm Beach County. Look up in the sky. On a t-shirt, a hoodie, or a hat, it's the Print Hero. The Print Hero team is made up of expert designers and printers, each with their own unique superpowers. Help your company look great. Stand out with your unique lifestyle. The Print Hero has you covered. Let your business soar with Print Hero. Display your logo, love, lifestyle, or whatever you want the world to see on a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat. Best prices and fast turnaround time. Print Hero, a company that goes above and beyond to deliver top quality products and services to their clients. Learn more at theprinthero.com. Up, and away.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Sarah is 64 and loves to garden. Recently, her health insurance ran out, leaving her worried about more than just weeds. She called the Elder Helpline and spoke with a volunteer Shine counselor about her options. There, she received free, unbiased counseling on health insurance for those on Medicare. For more information or to volunteer, call 1-800-963-5337 or go to floridashine.org.
Join us for Moments of Scripture, hosted by Jan Coleman every Sunday morning from 6 to 6:30 a.m. We will read the Bible, pray, and offer blessings to all who listen in the name of our Lord and Savior. Moments of Scripture every Sunday at 6 a.m.
And now another community first message from Robes.
When an auto accident occurs, stop immediately. Do not obstruct traffic and secure your valuables. Obtain the names, phone numbers, and addresses of the other driver and any witnesses. Call 911 and report the accident. Injured recently? Contact Robes Injury Law at 561-570-5700 or robeslawgroup.com. Offices throughout Palm Beach County.
Ant Media Productions proudly announces Music Nights. We invite you to a 2-night concert event, November 10th and December 1st, starring J.C. Dreesen with her Salute to the Veteran. And True Rumors, the greatest Fleetwood Mac tribute band on the land. For more information and to grab your tickets, head over to events.am2.tv. That is events.am2.tv, and don't be late.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Hi, I'm Sarah Spiritual, the founder of the Expedito Enlightenment Center. I would love for you to visit me at my spiritual oasis located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in the Tree of Life Plaza in West Palm Beach. Come, feel the energy, sample my spiritual sprays and oils, participate in one of my spiritual development classes, and have a personal reading with me, Sarah Spiritual. Let's see what Spirit has to say. You can call the Expedito Enlightenment Center at 561-682-0955. Not local? Visit me, Sarah Spiritual, at sarahspiritual.com for products, classes, and to book your personal session.
This show is furnished by Sarah Spiritual.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome back to the next 2 hours of Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, as we continue our uplifting and empowering spiritual discussions to transform your life. A gifted spiritual advisor, coach, and medium, Sarah Spiritual will assist you to connect to the light within and transcend beyond the limits of all experience and knowledge. We have another 2 hours to listen and call in 866-9-SARAHs. That's 866-972-7247. And watch Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can share the love and light.
There's a land
Yes, indeed, there's a light, and that light opens up our doors and leads us to love, and love is the greatest power, and it is the power of the universe. So we welcome you to the Universal Consciousness show tonight. We are tuning in, tapping into the universe, and we're going to dial up and see what the frequency holds for all of you. 866-972-7247. And I can't wait to talk to you and our friends on Facebook and YouTube. Please leave us your comments. Leave us your questions. We're going to be answering your questions. Now, at the 8 o'clock hour, I've got a really special guest joining us, Karen Kay. She is a Hay House author. She has created the fairy and the mermaid cards, the oracle decks. So these are really powerful cards. I don't know if any of you have them. And if you don't, you'll have to stop by the Expedito Enlightenment Center, where we have these fabulous oracle decks that are from Karen, and she's going to be talking about her oracle decks. She's going to be talking about all the different creations that she has. She has her mermaids, her oracle, the fairies, and then she has manifesting with the fairies that's coming out. So we're going to have a magical journey with Karen in the 8 o'clock hour. But let's ride the universal flow of magic right now and go to our phone lines at 866-972-7247. If you're just joining us, we welcome you here on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. And we can be heard all across South Florida live and, of course, on social media, YouTube, Facebook. So share the light, share the love, share the page if you're on Facebook. Let's go to our friends on our phone lines. And I've got to go to Linda. And Linda is in South Carolina. Linda, how are you tonight? How are you doing,
Yes,
Linda?
ma'am.
Good to connect
Fine,
with
how
you.
are you?
I'm good, Linda, and just speak up for me if you would.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Miss Sarah, I talked to you. I don't like how it's echoing. I'm sorry. Is it echoing on your side?
I can barely hear you, Linda. Can you make
Can you
yourself
hear
be a
me?
little louder and
Can you hear
connected?
me now?
I can.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
I can. You just
All
need
right,
to
I
speak
talked
up.
to you. I'm sorry. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
My question is, you had told me I was going to sell my house in like 2024. Well, it's kind of skipped up to like 2 weeks. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a
And
great
is
thing.
there-
That's
do
a
you-
great thing.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
How fast can
I'm
you
making
pack?
the right decision.
So,
I mean, yeah, you feel it. I know you feel it. I'm hearing it. It's something serious in this house. I don't know. It's always been like this. Everybody comes in this house, says it. I've done cleansings and everything, and it's still here.
right. Well, guess
So,
what? Guess what?
Yeah.
Here you are, Linda,
Ma'am.
in South Carolina, and you put out a cry to the universe, and the universe knows that you're not comfortable in that house. It served its purpose, right? And we are in gratitude and appreciation
Right.
for what it has served, and now it's time to move on. And when I read time being an energy and a frequency, 2024, early 2024 is soon. It's quick. Thank God the universe heard the
Yeah.
call, and now they're like, okay, we're going to sell it in 2 weeks. And of course, it takes papers and things, so it may not happen in exactly 2 weeks, but we know it's going to come to a short time. And so with gratitude,
Am I doing?
let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
With
I'm sorry.
gratitude, I
Yes,
want you
ma'am.
to release the house. I want you to thank it. I want you to tell all the energies that be to be at peace within the house. And, that the house, open the house for the welcoming of the new people. Now, what is the question regarding your daughter for me?
Am I making it with the right? The dog. Does she got? Is there? I mean, I don't know. They say they have. You could breed dogs or whatever. I have a blue pit bull. Her name is Lucy, named after I Love Lucy. But she has got to where she is just right beside me and doesn't move. And when I leave her, like I've been in the hospital in and out like 3 different times, and she just goes ballistic. I don't know. It's just when I cry, she cries. I just feel a connection with this dog.
Right. And so your daughter, your dog, but she's like your daughter, so forgive me. I see her as a energy of a union of the two of you have become connected, and she feels your frequency, and she feels when you're sad. She's worried. Animals have their own way of processing their concern, not the same way we do as humans, but she feels your ailments in your body, and then she gets concerned. And so she's with you. And I really feel that she's going to benefit well from this closing of your house. And I think that your closing before December 13th would be ideal in this short time. I know you say 2 weeks, but in this short time, because what that does is it sets you up for 2024. And 2024, my dear, is a year of expansion. It is a year of great new beginnings. And I know we're battling our health, but I feel like part of the thing we have to do is get out of that house, because there is such a thing as a sick house, right? The energy of the house is not sitting well with your frequency of your body, and it's exacerbating imbalances. So this is great news for you.
Thank you so much. And the people I'm doing it with, they're not going to do me wrong. What I'm doing, Miss Sarah, is I'm selling my house that we've had all my life. I inherited from my mama. And I'm selling this house, and they have, see, everybody came after me, Miss Sarah, went on. I found out I was real sick, and they told me I had 6 months to live. It's like people come out of the woodworks.
Right.
I had a lady, I was so sick, I walked in and signed my house over to her, didn't even know it, come home and stopped it. Well, my best friend, she's been my best friend for like 40 years. I give her power of attorney, and I give her girlfriend caregiver. And then I'm going to buy 2 acres. They're going to live on one lot. I'm going to live on the other, and we're going to put a privacy fence up. And that way they can be there, because I'm sick. And I know I'm sick, and I got to get better, because I don't want to leave. I used to ask God to take me all the time, but now I don't want to leave, because I don't want to leave Lucy. So it's crazy.
Well, you have to trust the universe
is going to have life.
I know, but trust the universe is going to work this out. And, you know, there's so much going on with you. And I heard you say some things that made me think, let's be sure that everything's lining up the way you want, and that the offer that you're getting and the finances that are coming through are ironclad. I trust we've done something with a lawyer in all of this. But I do hope, Linda, that you go online to sarahspiritual.com. I do feel it would be important for you and I to touch bases to the next steps, because it's important that you do the things in the proper way so that you don't get caught, because when people do come out of the woodwork, we don't want anyone taking advantage of you in a moment of weakness. And unfortunately, in the human nature, that can happen. So visit sarahspiritual.com. Let's see if we can connect and we can get a better read from Spirit for all these intricate ins and outs that are going on with you. It would be most beneficial. But I thank you for your call. I am so glad that things are moving in the direction that you wanted, and we want to trust the universe has your back.
Thank you so much, Miss Sarah. You are truly a blessing.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now. Bye.
All right.
866-972-7247. We're going to continue going to our phone lines. And from South Carolina, I got to go to Angie. And Angie is in Key West. Angie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Sarah. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to reconnect with you. And what messages is the universe transmitting to you? What are we hearing?
Oh, man, this whole week has just lined up perfectly, and it's just been really crazy just how things are lining up, and I know it's definitely the universe.
And so what's your burning question for me, Angie?
I have a concern about my son's friend, my friend's son that was involved in an incident today, and I just want to know, like, the outcome and if he's going to be okay.
What is his birthday?
I'm not sure.
But what I'm hearing is he crossed a line, he crossed a boundary. Is that true? There's something that he kind of did that was a little inappropriate or not correct. Is that also true?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Well, I do see, unfortunately, repercussions to this. So will he be okay? There's a little bit of a price to pay for this. So just ask Archangel Michael to protect him. Ask Archangel Michael to be beside him and for the highest good outcome for him and for things to kind of balance back out. I really feel like he crossed the line, he overstepped, and now there's going to be some backlash. But I know that with some resources and some diligence, we can kind of minimize it to the best so that the repercussions are just equivalent to, as my guides go, a slap on the wrist. All right? That makes sense to you, yes, Angie?
Okay. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it could get a little complicated. That's why we want to go to the people who are experts who can assist him with that. And, accountability, responsibility, bad moment, bad choice, these are things that if he is accountable for, we can most certainly, that'll go a long way in the storyline. All right, Angie, thank you so much for looking out for your friend and asking your question. I am so glad the universe is talking to you. So we've got them lined up around you, and there's great powers that be of abundance that are also around you. So tap into that universal frequency of abundance. It's all there for you. Bye for now, Angie.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome. Bye. 866-972-7247. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah right here on 95.3, 96.9, 95.9, 106.9, 103.1 HD3, and also in our friends from Miami, we've got you at 104.3 on WSFS. So we welcome our friends in Miami. They're new to join our tribe of friends all across South Florida. And we're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors. And then when we come back, we're welcoming your phone calls at 866-972-7247. I'm going to tell them to open up a few lines. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Standing in the room before I walk through the door. Do you know me?
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Come visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITO enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
You are listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, your spiritual advisor and medium. Connect with Sarah Spiritual and be in the energy of light. Call right now, Sarah Spiritual, at 9SARAHs. That's toll free 866-972-7247. Just ask your questions or message Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube.
Do you know me? Do I know you? Have we met before? I've been standing in the room before I walk through the door. Do you know me? Have you heard me? Have you seen me? Do you know my voice? Did you call me?
We are back here live on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. Do you know me? Do you know my voice? I am Sarah Spiritual, and we are connecting with all of you all across the nation at 866-972-7247. I'm so glad to be speaking with you on our phone lines and our friends on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks so much for sharing the page, sharing the light, and sharing the love. We're going to go to our friends on Facebook or YouTube and see what comments they have or what questions. Let's see what's going on. Who do we have here? Let's see. We've got Karen Gonzalez. She says, does Spirit have anything specific I need to know for my new journey that I'm embarking upon? So the first thing, Karen, that they make me aware of is that this year is really about being more creative and getting out of the routine. There's an element of creativity that is all around you and thinking thoughts that are different than the thoughts that you've been thinking and being on the path of alignment with what your spirit and your soul are asking you to do. There's a flow associated with you. There's a frequency that is lining you up with new opportunities to advance and for you to really be aligned and attuned to you, the you you've come to be. So the universal consciousness, the spirit guides, they are applauding you. Good. Break the routine. Stop doing the same thing and expect a different result. It's time for change. And this change is going to lead you up, and away. And the next 2 years, there's financial wellness. There's a stability. There's a new sense of community and people around you. So you are on the right path as you embark on this journey. We send the angels and the fairies to be with you, and we wish you well. Bye for now. Let's see who else we have on our Facebook and our YouTube before we go back to our phone lines at 866-972-7247. Let's see who we've got here. We've got Stephanie Pappas. Now, Stephanie has a question about someone who's passed. And, you know, there's a message for you, Stephanie, that the passing of your friend, in the suddenness of the passing, he wants you to know that he's all right. And when I look at the connection, there was always a synergy and a connection between the two of you that made you feel comfortable. And this person, although they have been gone for a while, when I look at the energy around them, everything they did, they lived their life. They lived life with a zest for life. And so now on the other side, there's a zest for energy and love. And if you ask and you speak to him, he will give you evidence that he is with you. He is most certainly in the energy, and he most certainly honors the connection and the friendship that the two of you had, this stream of connection that was remarkable and left an imprint on your life, and in a way never let you forget who he was to you when he was here. We thank you, Stephanie Pappas. We know that you are surrounded by your angels, and that this loved one that is a friend of yours does step forward to let you know that he is all right. Thank you for your question. We're going to go back to our friends on our phone lines at 866-972-7247. And I've got to go to Willie. Willie is in Massachusetts, and I just have a feeling Willie's got some big things going on. Willie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Sarah?
I'm doing well, Willie. And what's going on? How can I assist you tonight?
So I have to call in because I was listening to you speaking earlier before you started accepting calls, and you're talking about the numbers and your father, and you used a word that I was using all day to describe what I was feeling. You used the word stuck. And I feel like I've been in this space of feeling stuck in a way,
Yes.
in the sense that, I don't live a bad life and I'm pretty comfortable, but there are several areas in my life where I want to see improvements and I want things to be different. And I feel like I've kind of done everything that I kind of know how to do to make change or initiate change or to try to make things better. And I haven't seen the improvement that I want to see, and or it's kind of something that perhaps is out of my hands to like do any immediate changes like right away. So I've just kind of been like, well, I don't know what more I can do. Like, have I done everything? Do I just wait, or like, am I missing something? Like, I just don't know what to do to like get rid of this stuck feeling, if that makes sense.
Great question. And the first thing they make me aware of, and I was kind of laughing when you were talking, and I most certainly was not laughing at you, Willie, but, I heard, first of all, I heard my dad in my head, and he's like, what are you talking about, right? Like, you have to look at how far you've come, okay, and what you have accomplished. And your impatience needs to be tempered with temperance, with patience. And we need to wait. And I heard patience, grasshopper. Because there's two things. One is, when you were speaking, I also heard that, remember, it's out of your control. Certain things aren't going to change because the people involved aren't going to change. And you have to look at where you're in a loop in your life and where you're allowing yourself to be in a loop and somehow extricate yourself from the loop of the pattern of thinking and the pattern of experience so that you no longer are feeling that loss of contribution. I was going to say control, but they want me to say a loss of contribution as to the outcome, right? You're not seeing where your contributions are paying off. And that applies to people as well. It's not just limited to tangible actions that we'd like to yield a result, although it is applicable to that as well. So when I see this, I am most certainly made aware that it is coming. And this year is a year of great strides for work and career. But you have to change something else in order for everything like dominoes to fall into place. So what are you still holding on to that no longer serves you? What do we need to do that's different from what you currently do? That doesn't mean we push. I don't want you pushing. I don't want you chasing the outcome that you desire. I want you to sit and allow. We're going to surrender, but we need to look at, where am I still in a loop? And what can I do to extricate myself from this loop and place myself more solidly, is the wording I hear, on the sidelines? We want to solidly sit in conscious, grounded knowing that everything's going to unfold. And then allow the universe to take you in the direction of what comes next. Do we need to change our regular job? Do we need to rearrange the furniture in the house to change the energy? Do we need to stop the patterning of what we do every weekend? Do we need to start to do something different? Do we need to do some different spiritual practice? I'm giving you ideas that Spirit's suggesting. What do we need to shift? Are we doing our spiritual practice? Maybe not. Or should we go out and do something in a group that's spiritual so you can bounce ideas, because maybe the ideas that you're expressing are falling on deaf ears in your home? What's not clicking for you, Willie? Where's the imbalance within you in the loop that you're in? Right that imbalance, recalculate it, and everything falls back in alignment. Is this making sense to you?
It is, and I like what you said about not chasing, because I feel like I've been chasing and like going after and like checking in and, okay, what's happening here? Okay, it's been a week. Let me go back and see. And it's just like, I'm not getting anywhere. And
Right.
I'm just, okay, I can't, there's nothing I can do right now. I have to just wait and just see what happens.
You have to wait. And is part of this reference having to do with your product that you have?
Yes, that's one piece. When we last spoke, you were talking about me needing to shift my platform and choose a different way of driving sales to me, and I was already feeling that. So I've done a lot of work on my personal website for my products to improve the images and the keywords, and to do a little bit more advertising on different search engines to drive more clicks and traffic to my website directly. And I'm seeing the traffic, but it doesn't always mean that somebody's going to buy something. So it's just like, okay, you're clicking and you're seeing something and you're adding to your cart, but you're not actually finishing the purchase, or you're not adding to your cart at all. What does that mean? I don't know what
All
more I
right,
can
so
do.
let's
I'm doing
look
things
at
on
that
social
for a
media.
minute. All right, take a breath. So if they add to their cart, then there's, hey, you left something in your cart. Let me make it easier for you to obtain that. If you exercise the purchase of your items in your cart, I will give you a 10% coupon code. Here it is. And it expires in 48 hours, right? That's not chasing, that's marketing and business, right? So what other incentive can we give them? Because we know once they get it, they're going to love it. And they're going to, like a Fabergé commercial, tell a friend. And this is what we want, right? So when you were talking, the other thing I heard is we need to kind of look at our call to action. What's the call to action? Maybe we need to make a different call to action. You know, what are you going to do coming into the holidays? That's not chasing, that's business and marketing. And change some other things. Do we need to rearrange the office? Do we need to rearrange the process with which we create the product? I know we have specific measurements that go into the product, but maybe we have to change the ambiance of the room. Maybe we have to be in a different mindset. Maybe we need to pray something before we begin to work on our website and working on our traffic. Like, what are you not doing that you could be doing that is energetic? You see, I hear you in the physical world, and this is a great conversation for everyone listening, because we are all so enmeshed in what we're doing in the physical world that we forget to cater to the spiritual component, which essentially is the entire story and the whole fuel behind everything that we do. But we keep pushing through life, and then we wonder why it's not working. Right? We get all upset, and I'm not saying that to you. I'm just like, we all feel that way. Like, I'm so frustrated, right? There's that feeling. And then we just think of something else and we keep pushing or we keep chasing. So it's sit back, surrender, listen to the prompting. They'll give you an idea, just like they gave me that little thought that came through my head. I didn't act on it in a way that benefited me in the way that it could have, but I was conscious of the thought, and I'm conscious of the meaning after it, and so I can be in gratitude. So be conscious of the thoughts, the whisper, the stillness between the action and your active thoughts, which are many. It's a busy place in your head. I get it. But let's be conscious of the stillness. And in the stillness, you'll hear the whisper of God, and the whisper of God will infuse you with some new action that will just have everything take off. Great conversation for us, and I know that if you apply what we have just shared with you, you'll see some results. And keep working on the tangible things because they are necessary, but allow yourself to be still in the knowing that there's a force within you greater than the actions you take in the physical world, and allow that to be the governing force acting through you. Allow the divine to act through you more than just the physical actions you're taking that are supposed to yield a result. You'll get a lot further. Thank you, Willie. We appreciate your
thank
call.
you.
All right. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
866-972-7247. We're going to go back to our phone lines, and we've got to go to Sandy. And Sandy is in Pembroke Pines. Sandy, how are you tonight?
I'm good, Sarah. I'm well. How are
Good.
you?
I'm great. Good to connect with you. This is a time for you to really take a look at what you're doing in your routine and make the changes that are going to bring you more reward, more joy, more happiness, more fulfillment, align you with a sense of freedom and this fulfilled feeling in your life. Does this make any sense to you at this time?
Yes, it does. It does, for sure.
What is the questioning for us this evening?
So my question is, how do you transmute the energy? Because we are in Scorpio season, which I'm aware of, but the energy of Scorpio season this year, it seems thicker and people seem witchier. I'm just like, whoa, I'm the Scorpio here. So it's just interesting how it's just, I just want to know how to transmute the energy and see who's around.
Yes, and let's talk about the transmutation. So the energy that is around you is your own frequency. And when you come in contact with others whose frequency is a little bit more dense, it's extremely noticeable because you're very conscious of your thoughts, you're conscious of your energy, you are aware of your actions. So you are being mindful of self, which is so important in the journey. And the way we transmute this energy in the atmosphere of others, especially in this Scorpio season, which is not only intense, but it has a lot of sharp edges. And if we don't watch, we could get cut underneath the murky waters of it all and not even realize it's happened until we are profusely bleeding. That's the intensity of where we are. And what you do is you approach everything not with a caution, but an awareness, and recognize that if you place before you in the energy of transmutation the violet flame of Saint Germain to transmute and transcend everything around you, we need to see this density being infused with a purple energy and seeing this purple energy dancing all around you. So nothing that is of a low vibration, nothing that is thick and dense can adhere to your atmosphere or permeate your frequency and thus create an imbalance or hook into something that you're working through. And so we send forth this violet flame of energy to transmute and transcend everything that is less than perfection and balance it out. And put yourself in the shoes of another when their actions are particularly harsh or strong, perhaps spiteful.
Okay.
Look at them and see them.
Sharp with the tongue.
Sharp with the tongue, and say, who inside of them is out of alignment? Which part of them is misaligned and feeling hurt and pain? And to that energy within them, I call upon the angels. I call upon Archangel Michael to cut the cords that bind them to their negativity and their experience. I call upon Archangel Raphael to heal them physically and emotionally. And I call upon the violet flame to transmute all of the energetic frequencies that have weighed them down and thus are creating the need for them to be snippy and bite into my energy. And I surround myself with the violet flame, so I am forever encased in this light of protection. And I bless them.
Okay.
Because right now, everyone's wounds are raw. Have you ever had a cut or a scab and it was kind of just healing, but just when you think it's almost healed, you rub it again and now it's raw and it's bleeding, but it hurts more and it takes even longer to heal? That's how I'm describing people right about now.
Okay.
A reopened wound.
Like I said,
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
So that would be very important. I do see the angels around you, and I feel that, Sandy, there's a strong energy of love and comfort coming for you, and I'm made aware of a gentleman on the other side, paternal side of the family. I am aware of his energy. Mm-hmm. He is not identifying himself, but he is in paternal side, and so I'm not forming a strong connection with him, But did father, grandfather pass, please?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So know that Dad is in the distance here. I just feel his presence, but he's not giving me any specific words to share with you. But do know that he is here as a looking on and watching over you. I hope this brings you some comfort knowing that.
Yes, it does. And I know he's with my sister right now, and she's doing her thing, and I'm glad she's finally doing something for herself, and I'm proud of her at the moment. She's shining like a little light out there in the water for the what she's doing in the Keys.
Beautiful. Well, we are so glad that you are supporting your sister and that you two are kind of connected and know that your dad is with you. All right, honey. Thank you so much for your call. We greatly appreciate you listening to the show. Bye for now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. 866-972-7247. We're going to pop on to a commercial, and then when we come back, we're going to take more calls and continue to answer your questions on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget, we've got our fairy, Karen Kay, coming to us at 8 p.m. all the way from the UK. She's staying up just a bit late. Perhaps she had a spot of tea before she called. And we're going to be tuning into her in the 8 o'clock hour, and she's going to be sharing all of her stories of the fairies and the mermaids. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
I've been standing in the room before I walk through the door. Do you know me? Have you heard me? Have you seen me? Do you know my voice?
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Hi, I'm Sarah Spiritual, the founder of the Expedito Enlightenment Center. I would love for you to visit me at my spiritual oasis located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in the Tree of Life Plaza in West Palm Beach. Come, feel the energy, sample my spiritual sprays and oils, participate in one of my spiritual development classes, and have a personal reading with me, Sarah Spiritual. Let's see what Spirit has to say. You can call the Expedito Enlightenment Center at 561-682-0955. Not local? Visit me, Sarah Spiritual, at sarahspiritual.com for products, classes, and to book your personal session.
Come visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITO Enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
You are listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, your spiritual advisor and medium. Connect with Sarah Spiritual and be in the energy of light. Call right now, Sarah Spiritual, at 866-9-SARAHS. That's toll free, 866-972-7247. Just ask your questions or message Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube.
Standing in the room before I walk through the door. Do you know me? Have you heard me? Have you seen me? Do you know my voice? Did you call me with your soul? Because you know that you know me.
Did you call me with your soul? Because you know that you know me. I am Sarah Spiritual, and you're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah all across the nation, all across the globe at 866-972-7247. We've got a lot of calls on the board, and we most certainly have to get to everyone tonight. And if you're on hold, don't hang up, because we want to talk to everyone. But I've got to go to Shannon. Shannon is in Jupiter. Shannon, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Good to connect with you, Shannon. Round and round you go. Where you stop, nobody knows. Yes, indeed. There's change coming
That's what
for
I feel
you.
like.
I know. Everything's a circle, and there's little Shannon just going round. When I look at last year, was last year kind of a shift change energy for you? Kind of feels a little, I don't know, like you had to weave and bob and dodge a little bit to kind of land yourself where you are in 2023. So there's a fresh start, a new beginning that's unfolding as we take you through the end of this 2023. I move you into 2024. There's a redefining of you. There's spiritual energy with you of a desire to feel more purposeful, intentional is a good word, in alignment with what you desire, and all that is good for you and around you. Does this make sense to you?
It does.
Perfect.
Yes.
And what is
I
your
didn't
question?
want to lead you in any way. I just wanted to hear what you had to say.
Well, thank you. And we, of course, open to your question as
trust
well.
you.
Well,
Yep.
I trust Spirit. Thank God I trust Spirit, 'cause Spirit doesn't fail me. But Shannon, is there something about family going on? Because you're talking to me about family. Is there a question about family or people in family? What's going on?
I was just curious if there's anyone around you that's talking to you.
Everybody's talking at
of
me. I don't hear a word they're saying. Only the echoes of my mind. Well, all right.
That's
So
a good
we
one.
have quite the family tribe around you there, okay? And I feel as if you are talking to them, okay? And when I look at, where do I want to go here? Was there something in your health you were managing last year, please? Are we looking at health? Because one of them's talking to me about your health. You're trying to get something right in our
Yes.
health, right? Please?
My hips.
Okay.
Yep, my hips.
And is that something we're acting on this next year, please? And it
Yes.
was problematic
Yes.
last
Mhm.
year into this year, and then next year we're going to be like, okay, I can't take it anymore, right?
Yeah, I am at that point, yes.
Yes, and it'll be all right. And know that you are fully supported in that choice and that decision. And they're also making me feel, and I don't know, dreams and connections. I feel like sometimes you get messages and sometimes you get nothing. Does that make sense to you? You remember some of your dreams, but not all
It
of your
does.
dreams, right? So
It does, and talk to my dad.
Yes.
I
And
saw
that
him plain as day.
energy, as if he's sitting right there, right? Very much so.
Yep.
And And who, speaking of movement and walking, someone's tapping a cane. Who had a cane or some stick they used to walk, please? Are you aware of who that person is, please?
I don't know.
Okay, we're going to leave that with you, and you're going to research that because we are in the grandparent energy there, so we need to look and see who was that.
Could it be my friend's dad?
If you were close to him and he was like a father, grandfather energy to you, yes, absolutely. Because someone's sitting there to get my attention, and I'm hearing tap, 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 like a cane tapping, right? This is what I is what I hear. And there's a birthday anniversary coming up for someone soon, please. Whose birthday anniversary is coming up?
My husband and my son share the same birthday,
There
end
you
of
go.
November.
All right. So I'm being made aware of that connection here for you as well, like something's coming soon. And it's a significant time and used to be something celebrated with many people at the early in the day. Yes, back in the day. Is this true? Okay. What is that? And they're talking about a trip. There's a trip that you want to take? Because I do see a trip coming for you.
Oh, yay.
Not until coming out of the end of the year into the beginning of the year, but I do see a trip coming for you. And it's going to be most important that you honor self and the time for self, and know that this gives you an opportunity this year of 2024 to write down what you want to create and really truly focus, because everything that may feel like a wobble, we need to take a look at and redirect it in 2024 so you're on solid ground, right? So we have our procedure. After our procedure, what else do we need to change? What else is not feeling supported and flexible in our life? Because your hips are what hold you up and allow you to move forward, and they want you to be aware of what else do we have to shift so we can move freely about for the rest of our life, right? We want to move freely about for the rest of our life.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I feel like there's so much you and I can talk about. I do hope that we connect in a
I
session.
totally agree.
You know, and because your dad keeps taking me back to family and something about your mother, but it's not enough time for me to make the connection because I've got to go to commercial. But I do want you to know that you are totally protected. That you are supported in this procedure that's coming for you, and know that your loved ones, not just your dad, will be with you during this celebration for your husband and your son. It's going to be a beautiful end of the month for you. And then we step into this 2024 with a plan of action. And Shannon, we know how you like to kind of plan and be attuned to things, and you're sensitive to others. So be aligned with what is most important to yourself first. Remember, that is not selfish. It is so important that you honor self right now. All right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling. We greatly appreciate you. Bye for now.
Thank you enough.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
866-972-7247. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. That's me, Sarah Spiritual. If you would like to have a connection with me personally, you can visit me at my center at the Expedito Enlightenment Center at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach. There we have an array of metaphysical products, and we've got spiritual cards, oracle cards, tarot decks, crystals, bracelets, herbs, oils, sprays, statues, fairies. We've got it all, and we'd love to see you at the Expedito Enlightenment Center. And you can also have a personal session with me in person. But if you're not local, that's okay. Go to sarahspiritual.com, and there you'll be able to select the session you desire, and we can connect online live, or we can do it by phone. Well, we're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors, and when we come back, I'm going to welcome in my friend, Karen Kay. She's my new friend, but we've been friends on Instagram for a while, and I've been following her, and we do carry her oracle cards at our center, at the Expedito Center. So when we come back, we're going to talk to Karen Kay, who waited up for us in the UK, so that we can all connect and talk about the mermaids and the fairies. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
That shines down. And there's a light that brightens up my day. There's a light leading the way. Oh, there's a light. There's a light. There's a light that opens doors for everyone. Oh, there's a light that touches hearts. There's a light to open everyone to love. Love may hold the answer we are looking for. Love may open up another door of light. Oh, there's a light. Oh, there's a light. Open up in everyone. Can you feel it?
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robes Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. We are South Florida's home for the True Oldies Channel. The Jupiter Joe Money Show presents Christmas Oldies at Noon.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Join the True Oldies Channel beginning next Monday, November 13th, every day at noon for your favorite Christmas oldies.
I do love Christmas music.
Feel the magic of the season with 1 hour of your holiday favorites. It's Christmas Oldies, each day at noon, beginning Monday, November 13th. Brought to you by the Jupiter Joe Money Show on the True Oldies Channel.
Tune into Florida's Jewish radio show, Shalom South Florida, this Sunday morning and every Sunday morning starting at 9:30. The latest updates, Jewish music, and more. Join host Roni and Shalom South Florida every Sunday morning right here on the True Oldies Channel.
And now another community first message from Robes.
When an auto accident occurs, stop immediately. Do not obstruct traffic and secure your valuables. Obtain the names, phone numbers, and addresses of the other driver and any witnesses. Call 911 and report the accident. Injured recently? Contact Robes Injury Law at 561-570-5700 or robeslawgroup.com. Offices throughout Palm Beach County.
Follow Oldies on social media. See what's happening in the community. Have a laugh with some funny memes. And keep in touch with other good time oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at True Oldies FLA. That's at True Oldies FLA.
Ant Media Productions proudly announces Music Nights. We invite you to a 2-night concert event, November 10th and December 1st, starring J.C. Dreesen with her Salute to the Veteran. And True Rumors, the greatest Fleetwood Mac tribute band on the land. For more information and to grab your tickets, head over to events.am2.tv. That is events.am2.tv, and don't be late.
Hi, I'm Sarah Spiritual, the founder of the Expedito Enlightenment Center. I would love for you to visit me at my spiritual oasis located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in the Tree of Life Plaza in West Palm Beach. Come, feel the energy, sample my spiritual sprays and oils, participate in one of my spiritual development classes, and have a personal reading with me, Sarah Spiritual. Let's see what Spirit has to say. You can call the Expedito Enlightenment Center at 561-682-0955. Not local? Visit me, Sarah Spiritual, at sarahspiritual.com for products, classes, and to book your personal session.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Come visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITO enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
This show is furnished by Sarah Spiritual.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome back to the next hour of Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, as we continue our uplifting and empowering spiritual discussion to transform your life. A gifted spiritual advisor, coach, and medium, Sarah Spiritual will assist you to connect to the light within and transcend beyond the limits of all experience and knowledge. We have another hour to listen and call in 866-9-SARAHs. That's 866-972-7247. And watch Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can share the love and light.
Yes, indeed. There's a light right here on VCMG on the Oldie station. And you're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. Now, earlier in the show, we told you we have a very special guest calling in all the way from the UK. We've got Karen Kay, who's known as the fairy and the Mermaid Whisperer. And she's a best-selling Hay House author. And her fabulous oracle decks of messages from the mermaids, oracles of the fairies, and she has an upcoming release of Manifesting with the Fairies that's coming up this December. She is a highly respected presenter and guide through all of her fairy work. Now, Karen has quite the history with the fairies, and it dates back all the way to the 80s. And the interesting thing is that the fairies have been talking to her for a very long time. Matter of fact, her pull to the fairies and the ocean and the mermaids spoke to her at such a young age, and she became infused with a desire to create everything beautiful connected to them, even so much as picking up rose petals and making a perfume for the fairies. So I'm really glad that she was able to stay up for us all the way to the UK and join us. It's a bit past her bedtime, but I'm sure she had a spot of tea and is staying up just to talk to all of you and tell us all about her oracle decks and her upcoming messages with the fairies. So without further ado, I want to welcome my new friend, Karen Kay. Karen, how are you? Good to have you here.
Yay. Hi, Sarah. I hope you can hear me okay.
I hear you beautifully. Yes, thank you so much.
Yay. Oh, bless you. Well, I'm okay because it's late, but I was in New York a few weeks ago, so I've still got a little bit of jet lag, so I'm wide awake at the moment.
Well, here in the States, we turned the clock back, and so right around now, my body's thinking it's really 9:10 instead of 8 p.m., and I'm thinking how much longer till we're ready for bed. So we're all feeling a little jet lagged with you here on the East Coast. But Karen, let's talk about this. I'm really excited. This fabulous oracle messages from the fairies that you have coming up. Tell us what inspired you to create yet another deck, and a little bit about what the fairies' messages could be.
Okay, so first of all, I've been listening to the show and I've really, really enjoyed listening to you, and also the fact that you're always bringing in the elements of play and gratitude, which is something that is very close to my heart. So I think we're in a body, we're on this planet, and we're here to play. And what better playmates than the fairies? So they've been with me, as you said, from a very young age. And when I'm, older, more mature, I've created the Oracle of the Fairies deck, which was in 2019. And that represented a part of my life, and then messages from the mermaids, which was very deep and healing. And then moving forwards, we've got Manifesting with the Fairies, which is where we co-create with the fairies in a really conscious way. And it's also not just about manifesting material things, but manifesting peace, tranquility, and the inner things as well. So there is outer things that we can work with the fairies to manifest, but also it's about the inner.
And that's where it all begins, right, Karen? That inner connection with ourself and recognizing the divinity within us, and then connecting to the universe. And the universe holds the keys to everything for us, and kind of disconnecting a little bit from some of the physical world that we've been trained and conditioned to pay the most attention to. So that playful spirit that you've learned to incorporate in your daily life really allows you to hear the whisper of the fairies and the mermaids and the whisper of God. But let's talk a little bit about your time with your grandmother, because I understand your grandmother's love of the ocean and nature really influenced you. So share with us some of those tidbits in that story.
Yeah, so when I was young, I think it was around 5 or 6, and my parents separated, and I went to live with my grandmother on my mother's side, and she was an avid gardener. She was in the garden all the time. And I also remember the neighbours. There were a couple of brothers, but they reminded me of gnomes, and moving forward in time, I think they were gnomes really in disguise of humans because they loved gardening too. But I remember just being with her while she was tending to the roses and the flowers in her garden, and she especially loved not wild roses but natural roses and the fragrance. Even now I can remember that fragrance, very natural, very, oh, it just goes straight to the heart. It smelled like divinity, if you like. And the petals would fall down, and I remember just gathering them all up and putting them in a pot, and then I would mush them all up with a bit of water. And at the time I believed I was making perfume for the flower fairies. It was actually rose water. But in my innocent heart, that's what I was doing. And then I would leave it out overnight, and there was I suppose you could call it a liminal space. So there were two garages we say over here, and there was a little gap in between them, and that's where I would leave the perfume that I'd made. And then I'd go back the next morning and it would be gone. And those with a more kind of analytical mind might say, well, of course it evaporated, and perhaps it did. But also I knew in my innocent heart that the fairies had taken the gift that I'd left for them. And at that age, your ego isn't fully developed. The cynicism isn't fully developed that we can often develop when we grow up. So it was a very natural occurrence for me. And I also would see them as points of light, tiny dancing lights. And this has just been with me my entire life. And it wasn't until I got to my teenage years, when we often have a rebellious stage, that I started to question it. And I thought, well, are fairies cool? And, you know, why have they chosen me, and things like this? And then at one point I thought, well, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with my eyes, because I'm seeing all these lights all the time. So I took myself to the opticians. I didn't say, hey, I think I'm seeing fairies. I just said, can you check my eyes out? You know, I want an eye test. And I had 20/20 vision, and there was absolutely nothing wrong. And I knew what I was seeing was fairy lights. And I also perceive angels as well. And they always come in a kind of bigger type of pulsing orb light. But the fairy lights tend to be small, multicolored, lots of different colors, like little points of electric piercing through their domain into ours.
And so when you connect to the fairies and created your deck, your oracle deck, how did they influence you? How did they give you their guidance to create? You worked with the vision of them and the message. How did they kind of influence you in that creation?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Sarah. So basically, I would meditate. I would ideally go out into nature, and either with the mermaid deck I'd be at the ocean, and with the fairies deck I would be in the local woods. I'm very blessed where I live, because I've got the ocean 10 minutes in one direction and the woodlands 10 minutes in the other direction. And also I have the windows open, and nature, it's very exposed where I live. And I would meditate, and also, especially with fairies, they'll kind of wake you up at all kinds of hours in the middle of the night, very often when we're most relaxed, and inspire me. And I knew, because we get our own inspiration, and you might think, well, is this fairies, or is it me? Is it my voice? Is it their voice? But as I'm sure you know, the sound of our own voice we're familiar with because we've grown up with it. But when we get telepathic voices, whether they're angels or fairies or even mermaids, so I knew that I was being inspired by them, and I would get visions as well. And then I would have to kind of write them down in as much detail as I possibly could, and then send that to the artist, Jane Delaford Taylor, in the current deck that I've just released, or I'm about to release, Manifesting with the Fairies. And she just conveyed and was able to put my visions perfectly onto the canvas. And yeah, I feel very, very blessed. With fairies, it's always very detailed. So it's the tiniest details, and it's really, really important. I suppose because in nature you've got tiny little things growing and flowers, and you really do have to look in the detail as well. So yeah, it's just been a wonderful collaboration, and the messages, I feel like through all of my decks, actually, I've lived them. So it's not like, oh, I'm writing it and then I'm going off and living my life. It's like my life is merged with the actual deck. So all of the lessons, all of the teachings within the deck. And also the Manifesting with the Fairies deck has affirmations and manifestations within it. So you'll have the meaning of the cards, and then there'll be an affirmation to actually implement it. So it's not just talking about it and then leaving people high and dry with nowhere to go. It's giving guidance about how you can actually manifest certain things within your own life and little techniques. So it's a practical work as well.
Which is important because people need action items, right? When we speak on this, sometimes it feels a little too, well, fairy-like or woo-woo, right? And they're like, well, how is it applicable in the physical world? And I find it so fascinating that your messages and your guidance that you've provided in your oracle decks and your messages with the fairies align with your life. It's as if they've been preparing you to design something that you didn't even know you needed to create. It was just they were giving you their messages and saying, hey, you're in this juncture in your life, Karen. So look at the bright side, open up your heart, pay attention to nature, look at the blade of grass and see the details, right? They were nudging you to notice what you could notice and find the beauty. You know, a lot of times they say the devil's in the details. In your case, the fairies are in the beauty of the details, right?
Yes.
And
definitely.
That's the beauty of it all. You found beauty in everything, and that there's no experience that you're going through in the physical world that can't be transcended by the angels, by the mermaids, by the fairies, that we have that assistance readily available for us. All we need to do is ask, and in the stillness, await their response instead of, as humans, rushing out and solving the problem ourselves, allowing them in their gentleness. It's a gentle energy they possess to nudge us, right? They can't force us, but they can gently nudge us in the right direction so that we definitely get it right. And I want you to share with our listeners just a little bit more. I know it's a little late your end, but tell us about all the fairy events that you've created in the UK. I mean, you've created quite an awareness. You have an enchantment, fairy and enchantment, and Mermaid magazine. Tell us about how you're spreading the word of this energy.
Yeah, I never intended there to be any business aspect to this at all. It's just been such a passion, and with me for so long, it automatically developed into several businesses now, really. And it really started, I think, when I've got two sons, they're men now, but when they were young and I was a single parent, and I was organising a mind, body, spirit type event to raise funds for their playgroup. And it was so busy, and it sold out, and people were saying, oh, do another. So I did another, and then it ended up taking so much of my time. I thought, oh, this is a thing now, I'm going to do this. And then in the early 2000s, then the fairy energy wanted to come into it. So I called it, I think it was a fairy, angel and healing fair. And then slowly the fairy energy just really took over. And also, when I was younger, and I lived in London, I live in Cornwall now. But when I was in London, I loved the party life. I loved going out. I was in bands, not rock bands, kind of punk bands. And I really loved that lifestyle and dressing up and going out. But as I became more mature, I still wanted to go out, but I didn't feel comfortable or confident in the kind of nightclubs and pubs. So I thought, I'm going to create my own event where I can dress up, I can book the bands, and I know what's going to be there, and it's going to be fairy based. It's going to be a fairy ball. And I didn't know if anyone would come because it was my thing. I was creating it for me. And I thought, well, there might be some people out there. And that actually sold out. The first one that I ever did, which was, when was it? October. It was October the 13th, 2006. And it was in a little place called the Acorn Theatre. And I think that's quite sweet because from little acorns, mighty oaks grow. And I feel like that's what's happened. But that event, I don't know where the people came from. It was kind of word of mouth. People were telling each other. And all these wonderful people came. And I'm really good friends with a lot of them now. And that was amazing. And then I was inspired to organise a festival based on the popularity of that event. I thought, well, there's actually a community here, and I wanted to nurture that and use my skills to develop that. So I organised the Three Wishes Fairy Festival, but that was because of guidance that I received from the fairies, and they can be a bit bossy. And I always say, when you connect with fairies, when you open the metaphorical fairy door, they will come in because they're very keen to connect with humans, especially humans that have a love for the planet, because ultimately fairies are guardians of the planet. They're guardians of our land, our beautiful, beautiful planet. And that's their job. That's what they're here for. And a kind of beautiful bonus of that is that they're magical as well, so they can make things happen. And when they find a human that is receptive, open-hearted, and as passionate about the planet as they are, then they will inspire you, very often in the middle of the night, but also in the daytimes too. And they just said, you must organise a fairy festival, and it must be in midsummer, and you must tell all of your friends. And I was like, wow, that was a bit bossy. And I sat with it for a moment, because just because the voices in our heads tell us to do things, we don't always have to do them. We have free will. We are sovereign beings. But I tuned in and I thought, I think I'm going to do this. And I didn't have anywhere. I'd never organised a festival. I'd helped organise other kind of events for other people and my own little events, but an outdoor festival, I hadn't done it. So I was like, okay, you're going to have to guide me, fairies, with this, but I'm open to doing this because it felt like an exciting, fun thing to do. And I love to play and just immerse in life. So I agreed. And then within a couple of weeks, all these fairy doors were opening, and I was introduced to somebody who owns some land. There happened to be a stage there. And then that's where Three Wishes Fairy Festival was born. But if I may tell the story of the name of the festival, I'll try and do it briefly. So when they said organise a fairy festival, even back then, there was nothing in the UK at all like a fairy festival. I knew that it was going to be popular. I just had a feeling. So I thought, I don't want to just call it a fairy festival. I want to have not a brand for it, but something that would set it aside, that would create something, a different feeling about it. And I was in my garden one day and the grass had been cut, which is very rare for me because I've got like a kind of rustic wild garden for the insects, the birds, etc. But it had been cut. And I remember noticing a single solitary dandelion seed hedge, you know, the fluffy ones with all the wishes. And I thought, that's interesting. How is that there when the grass has been cut? And I carried on. I was hanging out my laundry on the line. And then a little wish just flew past me. And I thought, okay, it's not windy. It was really sunny. And it's like, okay, I carried on hanging up my laundry. Then another wish flew past, and then another wish flew past. And then I was like, 3 wishes. And then it was like a light bulb moment. It was like, that's the name of the festival, the Three Wishes Fairy Festival. So by being out in nature and that kind of magical experience, that was literally the seed for the whole thing. And then my fairy magazine, which is called Fae, Fairies and Enchantment, that was born from the fact that there was a community, and I felt like they needed like a magazine. It's a quarterly magazine. It was all about the fairy lifestyle and fashion and folklore and stories and events. It's just, yeah. So I'm just about to publish another one at the moment. It hasn't been published for a few years now because of the lockdown and everything, and my distributors went into liquidation and it all went kind of a bit crazy, but we're on the verge of releasing it again. So I feel very blessed, very, very blessed to be able to do what I do, and I basically just follow my passion and my heart, and I play, and from that all these things are happening. So I do feel very, very blessed.
Beautiful. And we're blessed. We're blessed that you're on the earth, that you follow the prompting of the fairies and the angels, and you really listen to your heart.
Yeah.
And the human side of you that has such a big heart was in alignment with everything that was good and pure. And, you know, the fairies know who they're picking. They pick someone whose heart is ready to be of service. And your heart was open. And with an open heart, we can accomplish anything. Karen, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. I do hope you join us again in the future. And when you do come back to the States, then come on to my center at the Expedito Center in South Florida. We'd love to host you and have you do a fairy event or some fairy messages, whatever works for you. I know you'll be back in the States before you know it. You're going to be a very busy lady. Tell our listeners where they can find you on Instagram, Facebook. Give us some information so that they can access you and be able to connect with you and follow some of your lives and your work.
Oh, thank you so much. And I will definitely take you up on your offer. I feel the call to America so strongly now I've been there once. So I would love to come visit you. So yeah, my website is karenk.co.uk. And also, if people do want to pre-order my new deck, there are some bonuses. So I'll be doing a manifesting masterclass, and I'll also be giving away some artwork from the deck, some original artwork. And yeah, there's a few kind of bonuses there. And on social media, I'm mostly active on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok as well. But Instagram and Facebook, it's Karen K Fairy. And I've got the little blue tick on Instagram because there's lots of people calling themselves the same thing. So make sure you look for the little blue tick. And yeah, I love connecting with people and hearing all the stories. People message me all the time with their stories. So thank you so much for allowing me to come and share on your beautiful show. And yeah, I look forward to sharing with you again, Sarah.
I look forward to it. We welcome you here in sunny South Florida. We've got even better weather than New York. So come on down. Perhaps when the spring comes, you can take a break and come on to the sunny South Florida at our Expedito Enlightenment Center. You and I'm sure we'll be in touch. We'll make some plans. And thank you so much for sharing your love, your light, and your fairies right here on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. We bid you farewell, good night, and bye for now. Karen, bye.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, be sure to visit Karen's website. You can find her at karenk.co.uk. And, of course, follow her, Karen K. Fairy, on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors. If you've been on hold, know that we're going to get to your calls in just a moment. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
Come visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITOenlightenmentcenter.com. EDITO enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
You are listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, your spiritual advisor and medium. Connect with Sarah Spiritual and be in the energy of light. Call right now, Sarah Spiritual, at 866-9-SARAHS. That's toll free, 866-972-7247. Just ask your questions or message Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube.
Did you call me with your song? Because you know that you know me.
And we are back here live on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. We are so happy to be reaching our friends at WSFS at 104.3. And of course, our friends at 95.3, 95.9, 96.9, and 106.9. And let's not forget 103.1 HD3. Glad to have you connected with all of us all across the nation. And we've got to go back to our phone lines. And I've got to go to Cassandra. Cassandra is in Jupiter, Florida. Cassandra, how are you tonight? Good to have you here. Cassandra, are you still here? All right, we're going to move on. We'll see if we can get Cassandra back on the line. But in the meantime, let's go to Pembroke Pines. I've got Denise in Pembroke Pines. Denise, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, Denise. And what is your question for me?
I don't know. I'm all over the place. I just want to know what Spirit sees in the next few months.
Well, the first thing is birthday wishes, yes? We have birthday wishes coming up. Do we have a clear-cut intention of what we'd like to create in the birthday wishes?
Yes.
Okay. And we're all over the place because you have a lot of things pulling on you, correct? We've got work, we've got family, we've got our personal life. So there's a lot going on. And whose birthday or anniversary or something else that's coming up in the family connected to you, please? Not just your birthday. Who else is coming up?
My uncle is the 10th. My sister-in-law was the 3rd, and she just lost her husband a couple of weeks ago, and it would have been their anniversary.
Thank
the
you.
15th.
That's what I'm feeling here. Thank you so much for that, because someone's making me aware of, like, there's a birthday coming up, an anniversary. It's coming from the other side. So thank you for that. Tell your sister-in-law that he is all right. All right?
Okay.
Give her that message. He is with you all. All right?
Okay.
So when you describe all over the place, let's drill that down to, because remember, we put that out in the universe, we create more of all over the place. Denise, what is the question? What question can give you most clarity in this scattered feeling that you have?
Financially, on a personal level, I'm fine. I always worry about the business end of it, and I mean, things are coming together a little slow, but I always worry about what the end result is going to be.
Okay, but let's take you out of worry, though. Remember, when we worry, we create the disconnect from the divine, right? So we don't want to be in the energy of worry. We want to be in the energy of awareness and connection, that we will always be provided for, and the universe will always have our back, and God is always listening, and there's always a resolution to an apparent problem, because we don't want to focus on the problem. We want to know there's always a solution, and that the solution is readily available. And when we create worry, it becomes so dense around you that it's like I don't know if you've ever been bicycling and you've got a lot of momentum, and as you're riding your bicycle, you're doing really well, and ahead of you, we don't have a lot of hills here in Florida, but up north, you're faced with a hill, and you're like, okay, I can do it, and you start to build momentum, and you have to pedal really hard to start to make it up the hill. And then somewhere halfway up the hill, you realize, wow, this is really hard. And so sometimes people kind of pause, right? Because it's becoming really hard. And they're like, wow, I wonder if I'm going to make it to the top of the hill. My legs aren't used to this. I'm not cut out for this. And sometimes they'll stop for a minute, and they'll rest their foot on the ground. And then they're like, okay, and they'll push off and begin to heavily push foot, and then the next foot, and then they pedal one after another, and then they finally get a little more momentum, a little more strength, and they're like, okay, we're almost to the top, and they get to the top, and then they coast. Well, what you're doing is you're going up the hill, and sometimes in life there will be a little struggle, a little difficulty, a little bit of a hesitancy. But every time you worry, it's like you're stopping your pedaling and you're putting your feet on the ground, losing the momentum of the universe, losing the momentum of the divine, and you're not connecting to the frequency that's there for you that is worry-free. Yes, there'll be something that'll pop up. Yes, someone won't show for work. Yes, someone will have a problem with their contract. That's people, right? That happens. But it's a matter of you really looking inside and saying, what have I got to worry about? Every time I've worried, it's always worked out. So why am I worrying? You see, you're creating your own fragmentation in the experience. And it's so important that you allow. Yes, the business is going to be fine. Every time you found yourself looking like we were spiraling down, and you've had some moments, I know. But guess what happened? It all came together.
Exactly.
So why do you worry? If God gave the grass for the cattle to graze and herbs for man's works, why do you worry? He gave the worm for the sparrow. Why do you worry? You're created in God's image, the spark of energy. Okay. So perhaps you have to think of what Karen Kay was just saying and say, fairies, let's go. Inspire me. Lift this heaviness and concern. You get a bit more of a playful spirit going for you so that they can act and interact for you. All right, my dear? It'll be all right.
Okay.
And do know that your brother-in-law is okay on the other side.
And John's okay on the other side. I will let her know. She's listened to your show before.
Wonderful.
And hopefully my numbers are coming out.
Well, I don't know if you notice, but your number that came out in the cash 3 then turned around and came up in the pick 4 with a 0. Did you catch that?
I saw that. I was playing it for a while.
Yes. So you have to give those numbers a rest. So I think you have a couple of others that are connected to your husband. Yes. So who's connected? Is someone connected to March?
March?
Yes.
is my cousin Ida is March 3rd.
Okay. Play around with some of those
No
other
one else.
numbers. Okay, play around with some of those other numbers, all right?
Okay.
All right, or play your husband's birthday. I don't know what that is, but play your husband's birthday.
Okay.
All right?
I'll do that. Thank you.
All right, honey. Thank you so
Yes.
much. All right, bye for now. Bye. 866-972-7247. We're going to take a brief break, and then when I come back, I've got to go to West Palm. I've got to go to Fort Lauderdale. We got to see if Cassandra's still awake in Jupiter. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
Do you know me? Do I know you? Have we met before? I've been standing in the room before I walk through the door.
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
Come visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITO enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Hi, I'm Sarah Spiritual, the founder of the Expedito Enlightenment Center. I would love for you to visit me at my spiritual oasis located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in the Tree of Life Plaza in West Palm Beach. Come, feel the energy, sample my spiritual sprays and oils, participate in one of my spiritual development classes, and have a personal reading with me, Sarah Spiritual. Let's see what Spirit has to say. You can call the Expedito Enlightenment Center at 561-682-0955. Not local? Visit me, Sarah Spiritual, at sarahspiritual.com for products, classes, and to book your personal session.
You are listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, your spiritual advisor and medium. Connect with Sarah Spiritual and be in the energy of light. Call right now, Sarah Spiritual, at 866-9-SARAHS. That's toll free, 866-972-7247. Just ask your questions or message Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube.
we are back here live on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, and every soul's got its story. What's the story? And we are so happy to be tuning in with all of you right here live. And I've got a special announcement. If you liked this week, wait till you see next week. Next week, we've got some fabulous people joining me live on these calls so that we can share with you the meaning of gratitude. This is our number one show. It is our Thanksgiving show that's coming up. Just to give you a hint, we have Dee Wallace. You may remember her as the mother in E.T. She's going to be sharing with us her joy and her happiness of gratitude. She and I have become friends over the years, so I'm looking forward to having her. We've got Calvin Cates coming. He does our crystal healing bed work at the center. He'll be calling in. We have many other people who are going to be a surprise. So if you're not on our mailing list, please go to sarahspiritual.com and click to register for our newsletter so you are part of our events so that you know who's going to be guesting with us next Wednesday night for our big Thanksgiving show. We used to do it the night before Thanksgiving while all of you were cooking. Back in the day when I first started doing my show 14 and a half years ago. But we moved it up a week because we do know that sometimes people are traveling and they can't listen and they wanted to be a part of it. I usually give away some of my really cool recipes if we have time. So we definitely want you to join us next Wednesday night. Spread the news. This is our big gratitude show coming up. We've got a lot of surprises for you as we get ready to close out 2023, but shh, I can't talk about it now. I've got to go to the phone lines, and I've got to go to Diana, and she's in West Palm. Diana, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. Thank you for answering my call.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I was hearing a song in my head, Diana. And so good to have you. What is your burning question for us tonight, Diana?
Well, I mean, this is unfortunately on a personal concern that I have with my son's home health aide.
Yes.
Not only am I concerned for her personal safety, but like she literally brings it to work. The other thing is, it's easy for me to just say, I really don't need her energy.
Right.
And I really don't want to invite this and have my son exposed to this. She doesn't harm my son. She doesn't do anything bad like that. In fact, she's a pretty good person, except that like asking her to help me, who I'm a single parent, and like the idea of asking her to help me in the kitchen or help me anything, like suddenly her mood is like, oh, she's also 73 years old. And like, is she going to go postal at some point with her entire life? She has disclosed to me personal things.
Yes.
And it's like, and I know, and then it's like one moment she wants to earn more money, and then the next, like I approached her with, listen, I need coverage on Thursday morning, whatever. I have a function for my work, and then she's like, well, I'm gonna have to ask. I'm like, what's going on? Is it more like you don't want to do this? Is it more like you can't? Or I mean, I said to her, well, I'm just going to talk to her. You know, I definitely need more time. I'm like, well, the problem is that I call her out on what her comments are.
But Diana, let Spirit interject here. Pretty good person is good with your son, but she's not the person. And I know that people think good help is hard to find. I do hear that from other people, be it in the home or at their workplaces. But I want you to ask the angels and the fairies to open up a doorway to find someone who is a little more willing, a little more able, someone who wants to earn more money but is willing to put in the intention and effort to earn that additional money, all right? This is really important. Will she go postal? You know, I feel like her life is not in a place where she can really handle it, and she knows she needs more and wants more, but she has so much on her shoulders. The woman is burnt out. She's mentally and emotionally burnt out, and she gives the best she can to your son, and she shows up, and we understand that her energy is maybe not perfect, but she is coming with the best intentions that she can bring. But the woman is not a stable woman in her experience, and therefore, we don't know if one day she's just not going to be able to come or not be able to show up. And it's a lot for her. So I know you have empathy for her, and I know that's why you're trying to work with her. I want you to ask the angels to offer you another option so that you're not dependent on her, because I feel as if even though you call her out on things, there's a little tippy-toeing energy, because sometimes we need her and we don't, she's not really present for you in the way you need. You try to kind of build her up so she can. And there's a friendship there. There's a connection. You're privy to it. An acquaintanceship, I'll call it, not a friendship. But just know that her time with you is limited. And if you see it that way, and you ask the universe to bring another opportunity for someone to assist you, you'll find a better match. She's really just a Band-Aid at this time, all right? There is someone better that comes for you. This makes some sense to you, Diana.
I don't quite know how to have this conversation with her supervisor, the person that assigns people to me with my son's Medicaid. And
Right.
it's like, the problem is that the part where you say good help is hard to find, unfortunately, that's true.
I know, but hold on, Diana.
I work regular.
I know, but hold
Go
on.
ahead.
I hear
Go
that,
ahead.
okay? But this is because we only have a couple of minutes before we come off the call. But I want you to understand this, that we have recognized that occurs in the world. But we don't want that to be the energy that we project out into the world. So we want to say the right person will show up for me, that when I ask, the supervisor will readily vet through some of the candidates and allow me to help select the perfect fit, and that you mean no harm to this woman who is being as authentic and good as she can be. It's just that you need someone who is a little bit more well-rounded in the experience, a little more willing to show up. And that when you speak with the supervisor, it's most certainly not to cast any darkness on this person who's working with you. It's just that you need a better fit. And that's the energy. And you see the universe like pieces of a puzzle coming together, putting the right person to care for your son, meet your son's needs, and be of some assistance for you to just straighten up in the kitchen or just make sure things are just lightly put away. You're not asking her to clean your toilets. You're asking her to just kind of keep things in order in your absence so that it's not so overwhelming while she's there. That's not an unrealistic expectation.
Exactly. And her reaction to any request, in my opinion, is like
not satisfactory.
Like you said, I'm not asking you to. Yeah, like I'm really. I don't really think I'm a slave driver. It's just, to be honest, I don't know if it's personal at me or if it's.
But it doesn't matter.
Just
get out of your head. Get out of your head. We know when people show you who they are, believe them. So for whatever reason, we're not here to psychoanalyze her. What we're here to do is provide the right support for you and care for your son. Ask the angels and the guides to bring it forth. When you're ready, you have the conversation with the supervisor, come from a loving, empathic place, and request choices of a replacement. Because otherwise, if you keep wobbling in the problem, I'm going to tell you the problem's going to get worse. And that is what you don't want. For this minute, we have to be complete. I did want to take your call. We're getting ready to close out the show. I thank you so much. I know you were on hold, and I do hope that you keep us posted in this journey, and we wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling. Bye for now.
Bye.
When we're in a problem, we need a solution. We need to ask for assistance. And we can't be afraid of asking for something to change. Because if we don't implement change, if we don't look for change, if we aren't open to change, then we're going to keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. And well, that makes us all a little crazy, right? I remember the song, I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know right now you can't tell. So we all can be a little crazy, but sometimes we don't want to get stuck. We seem to have heard that tonight around several of our callers feeling stuck, stagnant, or, falling kind of in a trap of not feeling healthy enough to make the decisions and wanting to make sure that we're on the right path and not having our strength. We've all been in those moments of weakness and those problems. So we need to shift, co-create with the fairies, the angels, the mermaids, the guides. They're all here for us, and our loved ones on the other side. They send us much love. For this minute, we are complete with the show. I truly am appreciative to Karen Kay for staying with us and staying up from the UK to join us for this call. I do hope you'll join us next Wednesday night for our big gratitude show. But for this minute, we bid you farewell. Good night. God bless you. And I am Sarah Spiritual.
Help me hold the answer we are looking for.
This has been Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. You can hear and speak with Sarah Spiritual every Wednesday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Each week, Sarah Spiritual and Spirit answer your most important questions as you navigate through life. Listen and call in next week and let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit guide you. If you didn't have a chance to speak with Sarah Spiritual tonight, visit Sarah at sarahspiritual.com. You can message Sarah Spiritual at Facebook and follow her on Instagram. Tune in every Wednesday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. with more from Spiritually Speaking with Sarah.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
WSFS 104.